Yeah, I got it. Thanks. Good morning. Welcome to my Eastern Kentucky FSE 365 final project over host streams. Feel free to follow along with the lecture notes as we begin this little lecture. So to start this out, we have to identify a few objectives here. So, by the end of this class, you as a student will understand a basic understanding of the host streams. You will know how they actually work, when to use each one appropriately, and the consequences of improper use, which is very important. This is a very important topic, despite the minimal amount of material covered here today. Alright, so feel free to follow along in your notes, and we will begin this PowerPoint. Okay, so to understand host streams, you gotta start from the basics. Host streams are primarily used for fire suppression, and be it interior fires, master stream use, car fires, propane tanks, they're all using host streams. So that's a very important factor. But we can also use them for ventilation, and we will get into that here in a little bit. Alright. So, multiple types of host streams are available to us. We have our solid stream, our fog stream, and our master stream. And we will break each one of these down individually here in a second. There are two main types of nozzles to use during these, or while using these streams as well. We will begin with using the fog nozzle, and then we'll talk about the smoothbore nozzle. Actually, we'll be talking about smoothbore nozzle first. Okay, so let's talk about solid streams here. It is the most commonly used host stream. It is a very smooth, very cylindrical shape. It's very powerful, and it will be used for quick knockdowns of fires. Disrupting the thermal layer is very good about that. And it can be used whether we have a fog nozzle, smoothbore nozzle, or a master stream. No matter what you use, the solid stream is available with all these nozzles. And if you follow the PowerPoint, the next thing you'll see is a smooth nozzle with a pistol grip. Okay, so next on the list is the fog stream. It is a wide, kind of cone-shaped stream. It's very good at absorbing thermal heat because of how it is dispersed. It allows for more water droplets to absorb that heat. So more effective in that note, but you do not want to use it for a fire attack. It's just, well, interior fire attack. It's not ideal. It can cause some problems, and another thing we'll discuss later on in this little lecture. But they are, however, quite handy in liquid propane tank fires. Whenever you approach the tank, you will want a fog stream, a very, very wide fog stream, so that you can actually reach through and turn off the valve. That is one great time to use a fog stream, and through the lesson and throughout your career, you will learn this and experience it firsthand. It's also ideal for hydraulic ventilation. Fog stream is great for that. Say you are trying to push the fire back towards the house or whatever, for whatever reason. You'll have that fog nozzle in the unburned section, and you'll open up to the fog stream, and it'll push it. And whenever you use a fog stream, you'll notice something. There's a lot of air movement. If you were close to it, you will actually feel the wind brushing back against you. It's very powerful, and that's why it's actually ideal for hydraulic ventilation. It creates its own little wind and pushes. So, very awesome. And on the next slide of the PowerPoint, you will see a fog nozzle. Okay. Now, let's talk about master streams. Oh, these are awesome. You have two types of master streams. You have your ground master stream, which is a deckhand. It can be a portable or removable master stream that you just set on the ground and you sit on basically for a few hours. Or there's the aerial truck, or aerial version, which is a ladder truck being hoisted up in the air, and that's all it does. You use the nozzle off the end of the ladder or platform. This is primarily used for, actually probably always used for, defensive operations. This is a large-scale fire thing, the ones that you see on the news where some big apartment complex has been burning, or large commercial fires. That's master streams. So you will see these often if you pay attention to the news. These flow water at very high rates, up to 1,250 gallons per minute. So you're pushing a lot of water really quickly, and ideally, your rate is going to match how your pump. So the maximum pump you have, that's the maximum gallons per minute you're going to push out of that stream. And on the following slide, we see a picture of a, I can't tell what department that is, but it's a version of a master stream vision off the platform, and what appears to be a commercial fire. Alright, so let's talk about when to use solid streams. This is very important. If you do not use it at the right time, you can have some very, very dangerous consequences. And, you know, safety's first, so we've really got to focus on this part. So, let's get into it. We want to use solid streams during offensive fire operations or interior suppression activities. Be it going inside the actual structure and getting inside the fire compartment and putting it out. That's when you want to use the solid stream. Do not use the fog stream during that portion of the time. Okay? Using the solid stream for fire suppression is very important. Interior suppression, that is. This is also a time to use a broken stream, which we don't really discuss in this project, but a broken stream is simply turning the knobs, using a solid stream and probably a fog nozzle at this time, turning on and off the nozzle just intermittently. That way it'll just sit there and it'll shoot water and it'll get absorbed into the heat layer, shoot it off again, shoot it off again. What it does is it will disrupt that thermal layer. This is great for detecting flashover, because if you're in a room and it's hot, you'll shoot that broken stream up a few times and you'll listen. And if you hear water droplets come back to the ground, you're somewhat safe. Not saying that you're guaranteed to be safe, but that's a pretty good bet. But if that water does not come back down and it gets absorbed, you got a really hot upper layer and you need to back down. So that's a broken stream. Probably all we're going to say about it today. Defensive operations. This is really good for defensive operations from a distance. With it being such a solid stream, it has a longer reach. So you have to sit back from a structure, a commercial fire or something like that, or there's a risk of explosion or collapse. The solid streams get what you're going to use. Master streams are primarily solid streams. So keep that in mind. And again, we can use the solid stream via fog or smoothbore nozzle. Now, let's talk about using the fog stream. Vehicular fires are a very good time to use a variation of a fog stream. You know, you don't necessarily need that smoothbore stream, because you really don't have to worry about getting cooked, which, well, again, we'll talk about that later. But it absorbs more heat, it'll take out the fire, and if it's an engine compartment fire and you approach it with a lighter stream, you can actually surround the entire engine compartment with water while you approach, or you're extinguishing the final bits of it. So, very good time for a fog stream is vehicular fires. And again, liquid propane tank fires, which we will see on the next slide here. You should use a fog stream during hydraulic ventilation. Again, whether you're pushing the fire or you want the airflow to go a certain direction, you use the fog stream. And we didn't discuss this earlier, but you must have a fog nozzle to use the fog screen. Okay, so on this next slide, we do see titled "Time to Use Fog Screen." This appears to be a liquid propane tank fire, and as you can see, it's got that wide shape as they slowly approach. And while they're behind that wide cone of water, they're cool. They are nice and cool. They're probably getting a little wet with the wind pushing back on them, but they are cool, and that's important for, especially when approaching that liquid propane tank fire. They can be hot, and you really don't want to risk getting burned while trying to get up to that valve to turn it back off. So this is a perfect example of when to use the fog screen and what looks to be a liquid propane fire. Okay, so let's talk about the master stream a little bit more and when to use it. So we talked about it before. Large scale fires are when we use the master stream, like large commercial structures. Just 2 days ago, Los Angeles had a huge apartment complex burn up. That's time to use master stream. There's no risk to life. It's under construction. It's essentially what they call surround and drown. So get up there, get your master streams hooked up, and we'll talk again here shortly about having a supply line, but that's a very important thing also. And again, it's also called defensive fire operations. So when it's no longer safe to enter the structure, use master stream. You may also still use hand lines at that point in time if it's a house fire and you just need to evacuate. You can still use the hand lines, but odds are you're going to have a master stream there as well. Okay, now let's talk about the improper use, because this is critical. If you use it wrong, you're going to have deadly consequences. You can, well, dig into it. An example of when not to use, or improper use, is using a fog stream inside of the fire compartment for a primary attack. That's horrible. That can really get you and your crew hurt, and they're not going to appreciate it, I promise you. This can actually steam them, so you'll look like lobsters by the time you get out of there. And it's not pretty, it hurts. They can give you very bad burns, and if they're bad enough, it may result in death. So we really want to avoid that because that's important. I've seen somebody do it before when I was on the line, and I was not happy with them. And they received a stern message afterwards. But don't do that. That's horrible. It will get you and your crew hurt. So remember that one. Spraying the hose towards other people can lead to severe injuries and death also. No, I mean, yes, it looks fun, but that's a bad thing to do. Okay? That is a powerful hose, and do not wash people's cars with them either. We had a lady try to ask us if we could wash her car off one day with one. It's like, sorry, lady, do not do that. Okay? That'll peel paint off, break windows, hurt her. Don't do that. I'll never point the hose towards other people. They're not going to appreciate it. Now let's talk about water hammer, because this is very important when establishing water supplies and all that. So what water hammer is a sudden stopping of water flow, and it sends an energy wave backwards through the hose or the apparatus or hydrant or water main. And any valve where you connect your hose, any valve inside the truck, inside of your fire hydrant, or inside of your water main, it can be a victim. It can happen at any point in there. So you really got to be careful with this, because if you send a water hammer, you're going to lose your water supply. It can ruin a fire truck. It can ruin the water main. It can ruin the hydrant. I mean, hose, replaceable, but it's not a good idea. And how we avoid that is we slowly open and close the nozzle or the hydrant. You always see the movies where they're doing it really fast and all this. Take your time, okay? If you cause a water hammer, it doesn't matter, because you're going to lose that hydrant or that water main, with a truck or a hose, it's not a good idea. Just slowly close it, slowly close the hydrant. A few extra seconds won't matter in that point. And again, you're really gonna make somebody mad if you cause a water hammer. So let's talk more. The power of the hose stream should never be underestimated and always used in a professional manner. Very important. Just want to touch on that again because safety's first. Yes, sometimes we play water ball and that's a whole different thing. That's controlled and it's meant for that. So, but just don't do that. Now, a little more to talk about the master stream. You must have a water supply established for the master stream. Okay, you cannot fight fire if you don't have water. Essentially, structure fires. I'm not talking about wildland. Okay, so unless you get that supply set and established and you know it's a successful supply, do not initiate a master stream. Okay, very important. I've actually seen a local department who arrived on scene, opened up the deck cannon without a master stream or without a successful water supply. In fact, we were in the rural area where we were running tanker shells, and they ran out of water in 20 seconds, and they were useless after that. That's no good for us, okay? No. So, in summary, hose streams come in multiple types. We have multiple nozzles, including the fog and smoothbore nozzle, that can be used to achieve all these different streams. The improper use of hose streams can yield very deadly consequences, severe injuries, all that. We do not want to use the hose improperly, okay? Accidents happen, but let's minimize it. We want people to be safe. We don't want injuries, okay? Use it properly. There's a time and place for horseplay, and it's not with a fire hose. Know how to operate a nozzle to avoid a water hammer. Also, that they know how to operate the hydrant, because if you don't open and close it slowly, you can cause that water hammer, and it's going to be a long day after that. So take your time, do it right. They always say, slow is smooth and smooth is fast. So just remember that. Remember, above all else, safety is first, okay? Never put safety in the back burner. Alright. That's all I got for today. Hope you enjoyed it. There will be a 10-question test following this with multiple choice answers. And that's it for today. So, thank you.